Hey guys, welcome to the Magfed Ranch Paintball channel, and today I'm going to be doing another Magfed Mondays. But before I get into it, guys, of course, please subscribe to the channel, right? Smash that like button, turn on your notification bell. I'm trying to post content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, guys, but you know, been busy. It hasn't been as consistent as I like, but of course, moving forward, I'm going to try to keep posting on those days. And then, of course, guys, please watch the whole video, but share and comment at the end. I love all the comments that you guys have, questions that you guys might have, so that way we can answer all of them for you guys. That's going to be the best way to answer any questions about the markers that we do, or first strikes, or kind of just mag-fed paintball in general. Okay, guys, let's get into it, okay? So today's mag-fed Mondays topic is, are box mags mag-fed? Okay, and there seems to be kind of I guess, a not a 100% consensus, agreement whether box mags are mag fed or not, or like I would like to say them, depending on how they're used, just upside down hoppers, right? So let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about what we would consider it when it's not mag fed. Okay, guys. And specifically, that's when round ball is concerned, or when round ball is used. As you guys know on this channel, we really promote first strike use only. That's what we're pushing for, hopefully for MagFed, when it comes to standardizing our gameplay, just kind of making, what would be considered MagFed paintball its, own specific genre, its own specific sport. First strike rounds only is kind of how it needs to be looked at. And so let's go over why round ball isn't considered, with box mags anyways, if you're using round ball with box mags, why it's not considered mag fed. Okay, and the obvious answer, guys, is because obviously it's pretty much just, like I was saying earlier, an upside down hopper, right? So you're pretty much carrying a pod, right, on the bottom of your marker instead of on the top of your marker, right? So the key is that, are you actually changing magazines when you're playing? Correct? And so when most box players play box mags, let's be honest, they're not really doing a complete loadout and changing magazines. I'll tell you guys, hey, I used to play, as I told you guys before, I used to play with box mags when we used to play with the team. I was the SAW gunner, right, the squad automatic rifle gunner on our team. And I rocked a Takamo kit that was built like a SAW, and I rocked 3 box mags in our loadout. In my loadout. Right, and so each box mag, it was the first gen MCS box mags, guys. And so each one of those box mags held 200 to 250 rounds, right? When we loaded our box mags, I didn't count the exact rounds in each box mag, right? I just filled it up all the way to the top. And so it was anywhere around 200 rounds a box mag, right? So roughly I was carrying about 600 rounds of round ball. And then all my other teammates were rocking mag-fed, right? 20 round D-mags initially, right? The double stack, 10, the flip 10 rounds per stack D-mags. We never really rocked the 30 round D-mags, but anyways, right? That was the loadout. And so the problem with the way most people play box mags, however, is you have these different box mags where you can literally, and even the first generation and older generation and newer generation box mags, guys, how do you fill up the box mag, right? You just kind of open this flap door, and you can take a pod, and you can literally just pour it into the box mag. And I'll be honest with you guys, when I first got a box mag, I only bought one. I didn't buy 3 of them. Right, you want to test it out first to see if it works well or not, and after it worked well, then I obviously created my loadout. But on that first one, the way I was filling it was literally with just pods, right? Those big pods that a normal speedball player would play with. And so that's not really mag fed, right? The gameplay is not really mag fed. Okay, so just quick off the bat, round ball, not considered MagFed. So if that is the case, then what is considered MagFed with first strike rounds, right? The problem is we don't have many, if at all, drum mags or box mags that are first strike capable. I know there's a bunch of companies, or you can kind of search and Google online, and there's been kind of prototypes made. I know a couple companies have patents on them. I know a lot of inventive users out there have like 3D printed them and kind of built it their own, but there's really no drum mag or box mag capable of first strike rounds that you can just go purchase off of a company's website or some online distributor's website, right? So therein lies the first problem, that there isn't a viable option for a drum mag or a box mag. And because of that, right now, as a whole, as a general rule, drum mags or box mags aren't mag fed, right? But let's hypothetically say that we get to that point and we actually have a company or have a user design and produce a viable working box mag or drum mag for first strike rounds. The problem, but it's actually kind of a good thing when it comes to MagFed, is that I think the reliability of the magazine is going to be an issue. And so some people are going to say, obviously some of the pure, I guess, really die-hard MagFed players that says, well, hey, if you have too many rounds, right, regardless if it's round ball or first strike, that it's not really considered MagFed, because at this point now you're not playing a limited capacity style of gameplay, right? And that's the argument, because most people think of MagFed as a limited capacity gameplay. And it is to a certain extent, especially when you talk about first strike rounds, right? Because the first strike rounds forces you to load the magazine a certain way, right? It's directional, not like a round ball. But my argument that is, if we can make a viable first strike round box mag, then for sure it is MagFed, because at that point it forces you to do a magazine reload, right? Just like how a real saw or automatic rifleman in the battalion, the fire group team, right? The fire group would be forced to do a reload, right? So you're just not pouring pods of round balls into the box mag. And this goes to my point about the reliability. Just like in real life, there's a reason why our military hasn't adopted like a beta mag, right? Or a box mag for every person, right? Because, or even like, let's say like the Surefire 60 round magazines, right? Or even the higher capacity 40 round magazines for the ARs. And it's because it's the reliability concern, right? The springs are going to wear faster. The springs might be too stiff, right? Or maybe not stiff enough to load the first strike rounds properly. And so I think a box mag that is capable of first strike for 100% should be included in MagFed gameplay because of those reliability issues. Because you're going to experience the same issues like really real firearms will experience with those magazine designs. Now, where it's kind of a blur, I guess, or I would have a gripe, is if all the rounds would be all 62 caliber, right? Rounds. I'm sorry, 68 caliber first strikes, right? And the reason why I say that is because then the performance of the box mag equipped marker is going to be roughly the same as any one of your standard, magazine fed markers, right? Because if you have a rifle barrel, you have a good optic on there, and you have, of course, a dialed in consistent marker, the box mag, of course, is going to have an advantage because of the firepower capability, right? You have more rounds, you can do less reloads. There's going to be a disadvantage. to a normal magazine marker. And so that would be an honest gripe. That would be a valid gripe, because then everyone's going to play with this drum mag or box mag versus just playing with a standard 20, right, or 19, 18 round magazine. But there's a couple, like I said, my couple arguments for that would be that one, it's going to be less reliable, just by design. You guys, any engineered device, there's going to be pros and cons. And I really think, like I said, there's a reason why we don't have currently available box mags and drum mags for First Strike, is because there's a reliability issue. And trust me, if the cost can be a big issue, but trust me, if there was a design out there that worked reliably, okay, I'm pretty sure there would be people out there rocking them, right? But because there isn't, there's not that many people rocking them. But I have a solution to finish this video off. I think there's a good middle ground, right? So for the people that says, okay, well then you might have a unfair advantage, because now you have like a 40 or 50 round drum or box magazine versus just your standard 18 or 20 round magazine. I think the compromise that we can do as a community is, I think we standardize or say that the drum or box mags are 50 caliber First Strike rounds. And I get it, guys, that's going to be a huge decision, kind of a huge thing in the paintball industry as a whole, because right now, right, 50 caliber isn't really used as much as the 68 caliber rounds are. We haven't really tested and tuned and figured out what the maximum speed we can shoot a 50 caliber with. We haven't really tested to see, the reliability. We really haven't tested really the accuracy and the performance of the 50 caliber. So I'm just kind of talking in hypotheticals right now. But I'm thinking that if we allow 50 caliber to be the round used for drums and box mag setups, right, or for that position, for that role, the saw gunner, then I think it would pretty much answer all the unfair or negative or even positive concerns, right? Because you're going to be able to hold more 50 caliber rounds in a drum mag or a box mag. And so it's going to simulate a more realistic loadout, right? Because instead of, let's say, a 50 round drum or box mag with 50 calibers in there, you might be able to carry 70 rounds. And so now it's a higher capacity. So it's going to simulate more of an actual real loadout. Second is the performance. Like I said, we haven't done the testing yet, but my hypothesis is that the 50 caliber is not going to fly as far, not going to be as accurate as a 68 caliber First Strike round will be, right? Just it weighs less, it's going to not have enough weight to carry the momentum for the further distances, and then it's going to be more susceptible to in the environment, wind, all those type of things, right? And so I think the performance aspect, you can argue, hey, you have more rounds, but you have less distance capability, you have less accuracy capability, and so it's quote unquote fair, right? Just kind of like a real saw. There's a reason why we recently switched away from the squad automatic, the M249, to now everyone is carrying just a standard M27 in the Marine Corps, right? Because it's more reliable, it's more accurate. And of course, there's the weight concern, right? With a squad automatic type of marker, it should be bigger. The box mags, drum mags are bigger, so your loadout is going to be heavier. And so it's going to kind of simulate that realism, and then of course, have the different fair and unfair criterias. Okay? Now, the last thing I will say about that is that if we do decide to use 50 caliber as that marker's position, then what is the feet per second that we can fire it at? And unfortunately, guys, hey, we're going to have to do these testings. You're going to have to shoot it at goggles, maybe shoot it at whatever the standard that the paintball industry uses to get it certified. Maybe that's 325 feet per second. You can shoot it a little bit higher because of the smaller caliber, smaller weight. Maybe that's 350. But I would love to see that development, because this is what excites me about this whole process if we decided to push it. There's a good chance that maybe other caliber FSR will be designed, will be discussed, will be tested. And maybe we'll find out that different calibers are actually better than 68. Maybe 50 caliber is actually better than 68, even at a higher velocity. Maybe 60 caliber, right? There used to be 60 caliber paintballs back in the day. Maybe it's 43, right? Maybe it's 40 caliber. Who knows? Just like real firearms, it'd be really cool to see all these different developments of different size calibers and see how they actually perform at different feet per second. And then, of course, within the safety guidelines and the safety rules. Okay, guys, but hey, that's the end of the video, guys. Box mags. Is it mag fed? And as always, guys, there's always, yes and no, right? No if it comes to round ball. Yes if it comes to first strike use. But as you can see, depending on the first strike rounds we use, it might have different pros and cons to each setup. But hey, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you like that video, please smash the right, subscribe. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.